Which animals have no natural enemies? To judge whether an animal has natural enemies, the key question is not, can this animal ever be defeated? The real question is there another animal that regularly treats it like lunch? Take elephants, for example. No matter how hungry a lion or a tiger gets, it usually does not hold a team meeting and say, "All right, everyone, tonight's dinner plan, full-grown elephant." That is not a bravery problem. That is a terrible business decision. A grown elephant is basically a living armored truck. You run up and take one bite, and before you even know what it tastes like, you may already be getting launched into your next life. Of course, in extreme situations, lions may attack young, weak, or isolated elephants. But normally, they are not going to risk the entire squad just to fight a healthy adult elephant. So strictly speaking, lions and tigers are not really natural enemies of elephants. Animals that are generally considered to have no natural enemies can usually be divided into a few groups. The first group is apex predators, the top bosses of the food chain. On land, you have animals like tigers, lions, and polar bears. In the sky, you have golden eagles and other powerful birds of prey. In the water, you have crocodiles, sharks, killer whales, and a few other animals that basically come with their own warning label. Once these animals reach adulthood, they are usually the heavyweight champions of their own territory. That does not mean they can never get hurt, and it does not mean they never die. It just means very few animals are out there hunting them as a regular food source. The animal kingdom is very practical. If you can catch a rabbit, why challenge a tiger? If you can eat fish, why annoy a killer whale? That is like walking into a buffet, seeing roast chicken, steak, and dessert, and then deciding to chew on the table leg. Technically, you can try. But why would you do that to yourself? The second group is made up of animals that are simply huge. For example, elephants, hippos, rhinos, and large whales. They are not all predators, but their size alone is already a very strong argument. And some of them also have a personality problem. Hippos, for example, may look like giant floating potatoes, but their temper is more like a debt collector having the worst day of his life. Even top predators often choose to avoid animals like these. It is not always because they could never win. It is because the reward is not worth the risk. After all, animals do not hunt like they are filming an action movie. They are not trying to prove how tough they are. They are trying to survive without getting their ribs rearranged. Then there is the third group, and this one is a little ridiculous. Some animals have no natural enemies not because they are strong, and not because they are huge, but because they are just not worth eating. For example, sea spiders. These creatures look like someone sketched a spider at the bottom of the ocean and then forgot to finish the body. Most of what you see is just long, thin legs. There is barely any meat, and some species are covered in a hard outer shell. So from a predator's point of view, this is a very bad deal. Not much food, annoying to bite, and probably not even tasty. Another animal might look at a sea spider and think, "You know what? I'm good." And somehow, that strategy works. Some animals survive because they are strong. Some survive because they are fast. Sea spiders survive because they are basically the seafood version of a bad restaurant review. They never became the star item on the menu, but by being extremely unappetizing, they managed to keep existing from very ancient ocean times all the way to today. So having no natural enemies does not always mean an animal is truly invincible. Sometimes it is too strong, so nobody wants to mess with it. Sometimes it is too big, so nobody wants to risk it. And sometimes it is so disappointing as a meal that everyone just leaves it alone. Nature can be brutal, but it can also be weirdly honest. And that is it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy fun, slightly ridiculous science videos like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and support the channel. See you in the next one.